My name is Lea Kayali and I'm with the Palestinian Youth Movement. And I'm so honored to be here today on the day of mourning, because as a Palestinian, every day for the last 419 days has been a day of mourning. In just the last 24 hours, we mourned the 101 Palestinians who were martyred or injured in Gaza. We mourn the 4,000 martyrs of Lebanon and the 44,000 martyrs of Palestine who have reached hospitals, knowing that the death toll is likely in the hundreds of thousands. So we are mourning with you today. Genocide, the unforgivable crime, has been wrought against so many of us indigenous folk. This is the bloodied history that colonizers tried to cover up with stories like Thanksgiving and Israeli independence. And today we reject those lies. Today, as a Palestinian, let me tell you our truth. This ongoing genocide is more than the heart-wrenching stories that you've heard. It is more than Hind Rajab's call for help, Rafat al-Harir's last poem, and Sha'ban al-Dalul's tent in fire. Genocide is the theft of all that is familiar. It is the grotesque and unnatural contortion of what we once called life. 20 kilograms of human remains in a plastic shopping bag. Bucking hamstrings of prisoners meant to stand naked for days on end without food. An ambulance shredded and left in the street like a meatball of entrails, mechanical. The low hum of drones swarming like autonomous hornets in your eardrums. Genocide is manufactured. It is the machinery of colonialism that makes a mockery of natural life. Zionism has produced an unrelenting mourning that will settle into our DNA for generations. But in this gathering, I am reminded it need not be that way. We deserve so much more than this capitalist Armageddon. Today, I feel in my body that I am surrounded by the folk who stare into this machinery of death and who extend a hand into the gears to hold ours as Palestinians, to say we have been here too, and we will only emerge together. My father always reminds me that we Palestinians can never make the mistake of thinking that we are the only peoples to endure and resist this mechanism of colonial oppression. For if we believe that we suffer alone, we will never rise together. So when I grieve the tens of thousands of children in Gaza who are orphans, I mourn the generations of native children who have been stolen from their homes. Because, to borrow from Nick Este's words, the theft of the young is the theft of the future. When I hear of the martyrs whose bodies are stolen by the cruel Zionist regime, my heart aches for every murdered and missing indigenous person. And when I weep for Walid Da'a, the now martyred Palestinian political prisoner, I know that with my tears, I must demand freedom for Leonard Peltier. To be indigenous is to be held a space in the front lines of the fight for liberation. It is a space that is ours if we promise to commit to it, to study our history. Our Palestinian Palestinian struggle against colonialism is a century old. We resisted first the British with the Great Peasant Revolt, the popular strikes and guerrilla attacks. Then we resisted the Zionists, expanding the mass character of our struggle and the tactics for over 76 years after. We Palestinians have tried all manner and forms of resistance, all legitimate and glorious genres of intifada, endeavors to shake off the shackles of colonialism. This is a resistance that is alive and well today. It is a resistance that tears down walls. It is a resistance that stops Merkava tanks in its tracks. It is a resistance that forces the occupier to retreat. Our diasporic Palestinian resistance is the focused work of targeting war profiteers like the shipping and logistics company Maersk that our organization is targeting. And just this month, we exposed their treachery and got Spain to reject 3 ships carrying military cargo for Israel. Our movement is creating chaos for one of the most profitable corporations in the world, and that is a crisis we will only escalate through our organizing. The youth in the Palestinian diaspora are stepping in to our legacy as indigenous resistors. It is a legacy that spans not only that century of Palestinian resistance, but the half millennia of indigenous resistance. And if ever I waver in my confidence of our path, I remember that we inherit the legacies of Lakota warriors, of Taino resistors, of Wampanoag champions. This summer, I connected with comrades from Hue Aloha Aina, and these Hawaiian organizers shared with me a chant in their struggle that passes on the message of a prophecy. An intifada where the masses will come together and strike at the heart of empire. And I don't know about you, but every day I feel closer to that revolution. Our indigeneity is a promise. It is an untouchable bond with our land. Zionists have demolished my family's home. They have stolen my cousins. They have appropriated our culture, but they cannot steal my relationship with my land. They cannot take away the texture of my hair under the Mediterranean sea breeze. They cannot rob the taste of olive oil from my lips. They cannot appropriate the way my grandmother makes sage tea to cure all evils. The indigenous freedom struggle is a long, middling road, but it has one destination: home. And as we traverse this long, middling road, we must choose every day to refuse despair. Because as indigenous people, we, all of us, we know 2 things. First, that our indigeneity is our sacred and eternal inheritance of our relation with our lands. And second, that colonialism is the obstacle in our path to that prophecy. And so my relatives here today, that leaves us with no choice but to end colonialism. This is not the decolonization of academic polemics, nor is it the decolonization of an NGO's mission statement, nor is it the decolonization of white people's veneer land acknowledgements. This is the decolonization of the Fedayeen, of the Zapatistas, of the American Indian movement. This is the decolonization that is threatening world order. Our decolonization revolution is a global people's resistance that will not stop until the sunrise of freedom warms every inch of this earth from the long night of repression. So let them try. Let them try to steal our children, to push us from our homes, to repress our culture. They will fail because they are in our way. The future of collective freedom is our future of prophecy and our promise. Because nothing can stop this rising tide of resistance. Because the land knows her stewards, and we vowed to her that we will return victorious. So when I say from Turtle Island to Palestine, you say land back. From Turtle Island to Palestine. Land back. From Turtle Island to Palestine. Land back. From Turtle Island to Palestine. Land back. Thank you so much.